When I interview someone, I ask them to, you know, describe the plot of their movie, and I feel a bit sorry for actors. But this, I mean, good luck, Michelle. What's this about?
It's almost impossible to describe. Can you imagine when you first received the script? You're like, please tell me these two boys are not certifiably insane. It's one of the most... You know how we always ask for an original script? Come on, be bold, be original. And then when you start reading and you go, hot dog fingers, rock that cocktail, okay, butt plugs, you're like, what the hell?
But also, we should say, if you haven't seen the film, the butt plugs are awards.
Oh, yeah.
They're like...
They're serious awards.
There it is.
She got like 3 of them. I mean, when you first see them, you're like, oh, no.
And that guy, he has to... He's
about
to land on it.
God.
We're not seeing the next bit.
I lost it that day. I was on the ground. I was like, I can't believe I've spent my years training as what I thought to be a good actor, and this is what I end up with.
Being upstaged by butt plugs.
I had to pull them out, OK? That's...
I mean, they're talking Oscars for this film, aren't they? I mean, there was Oscar buzz around this film.
There is. And, you know, let me just say this. It's that weird race. It's a race. They call it the Oscar race.
Yeah.
It's just a bizarre world. And yet, you can imagine, for me, I'm a 64-year-old woman who's been in horror movies, to be in that movie and have that be the movie that people are talking about it at that level, it's so beautiful and moving that that's the movie? Deirdre Beardra for Best Supporting fucking Actress? Are you kidding me? And if you don't take the shot, you're not even in the game. For me, it's just let's go. I'm all in. I'm just like, let's go, get it.
Where did you shoot? It was so beautiful.
Oh, so beautiful, so stunning.
In Ishmore, in the Aran Islands off Galway, and then in Achill Island, which is a little bit up. And there was a combination of the two, and we stayed there on the island, 750 people, 3 weeks, and so we'd be, you know, meeting each other on the road on a day off. Hey,
Brendan. Hey, Brendan.
So it merged into it, yeah.
But there were tourists there.
Yeah, there was. On any given day during the summer, there could be 2,000 tourists coming in on boats and planes and cycling around, renting the bicycles and horses.
He had an interesting kind of a...
Shut up.
Yeah, they have horse-drawn, you know, carts that they kind of carry tourists around it and stuff. And Colin, as he likes to do, went out for a jog. Yeah, I'd let you tell it.
Oh, carry on. No, I was just going for... And it was a warm summer's day, and I had my shirt off and jogging in me little runner shorts with slit up here.
Gotcha.
Only a couple of inches, moving along. And, yeah, anyway, one day there was a horse and cart and there was 6 people on the back of it, and all of a sudden I noticed that they were only keeping 10 feet ahead of me with all their cell phones up on the video. So I stopped and pretend to have a bit of a stretch and touch my toes and that, and they'd stop, and then I go... So I'd start running again, and then they'd take off again. So for about an hour, we kept about 10 feet apart, and then I thought, feck this, I see a hill coming. There's no way the horse can get up that hill as fast as I can run. Well, we were neck and neck for about half a mile.
Did you know you had this performance in you? Did you know that, as an actor, you had this...
I knew it wasn't asked of me. I knew it was material I hadn't seen before, and I just knew the basics of it when I went to meet Darren. He wasn't certain how he was going to make this movie because it would require the actor to clearly wear extensive prosthetic makeup.
Yeah.
To create Charlie's body. And
did that help or hinder?
Help, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it was designed with the rules that it would obey gravity and physics. And it was appropriately heavy, and that really made the experience of playing the part, I think, really a lot closer to what it would be like to live in a body of a man that size, for me, personally. Yeah. Because when it came off, I could still feel an undulation. You know when you get the feeling when you step off a boat onto a dock? You're kind of in vertigo?
Yeah.
I think what that was is just showing me that it's still with me. And it also let me know that to be a person of that size, you really have to be very strong, physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
And I grew to appreciate that by having played this part.
And you're one of those actors, you've been working constantly, and yet this has been described as your renaissance, because people like words like that. Does it feel... They have, I didn't make this shit up.
Me neither. Hey, look, we just work here, okay?
Does it feel like a renaissance to you?
Every time I hear that, I want to look at the ceiling. Oh, look, there's Rick O'Connell. Oh, look, there's George of the Jungle. Foreshortening. You can call me whatever you want, just as long as you're calling me.
Okay. And presumably people are calling you. Are they? They must be. Was it a swimming thing or a boating thing you took your kids on in Australia?
Oh, no. I had this moment where we went to this waterhole. It was called Rose's Hole. Well, that's said the actress to the bishop.
And where was this place you said?
Anyway.
I must visit it.
How did it get yes. Anyway, we went Rose's Hole, and
I love Australia.
And we were swimming for 2 hours, and I suddenly thought, you know, the kids were in there. I thought I should probably ask, are there any crocodiles here? And they went, no crocodiles. So we swam for 2 hours, and we were, you know, we were sunning ourselves on the rocks afterwards, and we said, so why is it called Rose's Waterhole? And they said, oh, because, you know, once Rose is now 80 years old, found herself sunning here, and there was an alligator beside her. I went, so where did the alligator come from? Oh, they're in the water. And so they thought I was concerned about crocodiles, but I would be fine with my 3 children swimming with alligators. And went, no, actually, no.
And anyone who's seen the movie, I don't know how many of you have, will know that you leave this movie feeling like you've seen Elvis in concert. Yeah. It's just, I've never seen anything like it. And I remember when I talked to you just for Cannes, the Elvis voice was still very present in your voice. Yeah. And people have talked about that. But I think there's a lot less of it now.
I'm glad you say that. I hear it all the time.
So, do you think, will it eventually go... have you tried to get rid of it? Have you gone to a speech therapist or anything?
No, I mean... the thing is...
What did you sound like before?
Yeah.
Well,
like,
I don't know. People
different.
pull clips from when I was 17.
Do you talk like that?
and it's really... I mean, to be honest, I've really... I heard my publicist told me the other day, you know, people are... I try to stay off social media, so my publicist told me, you know, people are talking about your voice and these sorts of things, and it really made me self-conscious for a second, because I thought, am I being phony? Is this not my voice? And then I thought, no, I'd have to think consciously to not talk how I am right now. But my voice sounds different when I talk to my dog or when I talk to my dad or when I'm here right now. You know, we all have different bits of ourselves that we're releasing. But when I was really questioning it, I thought, okay, for one thing, I'm older now. Maybe sometimes I have a Southern twang, but I don't think this is Southern. If I tried to sound like Elvis, I would sound very different right now.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna... you have to pay extra for that. But the other thing is, I think from all this singing, I probably have destroyed my voice a bit. You know, my vocal cords, it's a lot raspier now. Yeah. And so I just trained a lot, you know. I trained a lot, and then it turned out that I ended up doing all the singing for that early stuff.
And it's so good. It's so good. I think people kind of raised eyebrows and went, is it really him? So Baz Luhrmann released this clip of, this is you rehearsing Jailhouse Rock.
Oh, wow.
Actors always joke about kind of like, oh, it's Steven Spielberg on the phone. But you actually had that. Steven Spielberg was on the phone.
You know, I got this text. It was the middle of the pandemic. Not a lot of good news streaming in. I got this text on my phone, and I thought I was reading something wrong, and then I handed it to my husband, and his reaction told me it was correct. We started jumping up and down, and like, you know, middle-aged people do when they're excited, and it said that he wanted to talk to me, and I didn't know why. And then all of a sudden we're on this Zoom, and I realized what he's asking. He wants me to be his mom, who he loved and adored, and wants to make this movie to honor both of his parents. And then the work began. I always say there's one good day, which is when you get the job.
Yeah.
And then the nerves.
Terror.
Terror,
Yeah,
terror,
inside.
just like, just
Yeah, yeah.
terror. But there's that one glorious day
hope.
when they're like,
Before you
they
actually
want-
commit to
Yeah,
anything.
yes, exactly.
You have all these ideas.
You are a great singer, and we've heard you sing, and now there's this clip that has been out in the world. How is it out in the world? Did the school release it or something? So this is a school production of Phantom of the Opera.
The first ever amateur production in
You're the
Ireland.
Phantom.
I was the Phantom.
Stop. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, remember, this is a school production. I don't know what school you went to, but the production values, I think, are quite high. I think probably people have seen professional productions. Sure. Not as good. So this is Paul Mescal as... Oh, now, do you remember the name of the lady?
Jessica Hackett.
Jessica Hackett. It was on the tip of my tongue. I knew her. It's Paul Mescal and Jessica Hackett in Phantom of the Opera. Enjoy. Look at this. Come on. Look at this.
Is that real fire?
No, it's like a...
Oh, like a scream.
Look at that mask.
I'm guessing that's a wig.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, I hope she doesn't faint. She might faint. I hope she doesn't faint.
Look how long my hands are.
You're both feeling it.
Yeah.
Oh no, I think she's getting a bit faint. She might go. She's got. Oh! It's very good. But I was watching. So famously, Phantom of the Opera, at the end of Act 1, a chandelier comes crashing down to the stage.
That's what it's supposed to come, like swooping in,
Yeah.
big dramatic moment.
Yeah.
But that's where the production values, we'd use them all on the like candles, clearly.
Yes.
But we did have a kind of ramshackle.
I'll tell you what. I fast-forwarded. Here is. So talk us through this. So you went for slow motion.
Well, we didn't have an option because that's how fast it moved.
To the stage.
So these guys are giving it their all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no! Look at them. They're so good.
Every single way we have.
Oh, it's still going.
Yeah. Still going.
No.
But then it hit the stage for a second. Wait, and it's hitting the stage now. There you go. Very good. Very good. Not to depress anyone, but Miles wasn't born when the first Top Gun came out. So, had you seen the first Top Gun?
Yeah, absolutely. And I told Tom he's been waiting my entire life to work with me, literally.
Tell me this, when you signed up for this, did you know that there wouldn't be green screen? Did you know that this was all going to be proper G-force and real?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that was in the
talked to
small
you for
print.
hours,
I think that was
Miles.
in the small print, in the fine print somewhere. In the fine print somewhere. No, I mean, I did absolutely, but I absolutely underestimated the training that it would take to be able to withstand, the G forces that we're, pulling. People were throwing up, in the cockpit fairly often. Like it is no joke to get in those jets, and we're making Top Gun, so we're never going around sightseeing.
What I was afraid to tell Tom at the time was I had just recently come out of sort of like decided to think myself out of a really crippling fear of flying that I suffered from for years. And so originally when I signed on to do the movie, there was no flying for my character. My character was on land, she was on the water, she was never in the air. There was a scene at one point where it's like taxiing on a runway, maybe in a plane together. So Tom and I are shooting that scene. And the plane, the P-51, it's like tiny. You're like, the top of the cockpit is right here. My knees are up against his back. And he's like, wow, Janet, have you ever been in a plane like this before? I was like, no, I haven't, Tom. It's amazing. He's like, ever done any aerobatic flying before? I was like, I'm starting to get nervous. No. Why? Will I be doing so? He's like, it's gonna be very graceful, very elegant, just some very elegant rolls, it's gonna be nice and easy. So yeah, that's how I found out that I was gonna be up in the P-51 with Tom flying it.